understanding our offering. For those of us who probably have some experience listening to marketing, you probably have heard about the 4 P's of marketing. And of course, the first P there stands for product, or what you can call your offering. And today, Toyin will be taking us on that journey to explore what this means. And last week, of course, talk about customers. And today we'll be talking about how the offerings we are going to be offering, as the case is, to our customers. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me make welcome Toyin Adepegba as she takes us on an exciting journey today on understanding your offering. Toyin, thank you for joining us today. It's good to have you. Over to you.
Thank you, Wale. Welcome, everyone. I'm trying to find my screen because I'm sharing my screen, so I can't see myself right now. Okay, like you rightly said, my name is Toyin, and I have a few years of experience in integrated marketing communications, and I think roughly 12 years now. I was opportune to start from the rudiments of the profession. So across, when you say integrated marketing, advertising, public relations, experiential marketing, media buying and selling, across. So that's a few of some of the experience I've had. Sorry, I'm trying to accept people into this meeting. Yes, okay. Oh, okay. So I think we can just go into, we have about 40 participants, and I think we can just go into the presentation. Last week, I was opportune to join this session for last week. I think it was a very detailed job in the sense that the presenter touched fully on understanding your customer and what the customer looks at, what the customer actually needs in driving your business growth. So today, I'm going to be taking us on driving growth for your business via understanding your offering. So first and foremost, you need to have a product or a service that you're offering to your customers. So, but how do you optimize this offering such that you're not running at a loss, you're running a business, and you're driving growth as much as possible. So taking you into the presentation, I will start with, just a minute. I'll start with understanding your customer, just touching briefly on what was discussed last week. So basically, as a business owner, we need to identify who our consumers are. We need to be able to define who we're trying to target with our business. First and foremost, by geographic location, where do they live? Are they urban dwellers? Are they rural dwellers? And then we need to understand their psychographic in terms of their lifestyle. How do they purchase products? What do they look out for in purchasing products and all that? Then we need to understand their demographic, which is more like the consumer need, which is the main reason why we're having this webinar session. So it's important for us to understand the consumer need, because without understanding the need, we may not be able to fill this need and we may be in the wrong business, if you ask me. Okay, sorry, I'm still accepting people into this meeting. Wale, is someone there, please? I'm not sure I'm supposed to be doing this, but it keeps popping up, so.
Just ignore them.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay, so taking us quickly into the topic of discussion for today, which is understanding your offering. Okay, I believe to a large extent, every one of us understands who the customer is, which is our consumer that we're trying to reach. We understand where they're coming from and how we want to reach them. And this likely draws on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If we have product that is tailored to people at the bottom of the pyramid, the way we would actually package that offering to the consumer is different from the way we package to somebody that whose needs are not just safety needs, who has gone forward to self-esteem needs, and the one who has gone to self-expression. So there are different caters to this consumer and what their current needs are, and how our product actually tailors to them. Okay, so I will just move on to these key questions, which says, does your product or service doesn't meet your customer need? Okay, so briefly, in actually analyzing our customer need, two key things are critical. As much as the product should be functional in terms of utility, what does the product, what does it say? If I buy water, I'm trying to quench thirst, of course, which is the number one need for buying water. I'm buying water because I'm thirsty and I need to quench my thirst. But beyond that, there's an emotional feeling to buying water. So what would actually make me buy Eva water against buying Ragolis, for example, or buying Swan, which is more like, so talking about the functional benefits now. Functional benefit refers to the benefits that are rendered to the consumer by the product attribute. I mean, in a mobile phone, the functional benefits of a phone, you're looking for speed, you're looking for memory, you're looking for interface experience. Which is different for the emotional benefit, which is the other segment benefit that we're talking about now. So beyond the functionality of this product, how does this product make me feel as a human being? So I want to be able to produce a product or a service that connects with my consumer in their daily life, I mean, in their usage, satisfying their need beyond the functionality. So for water, for example, someone will say, what else does water do? It just quenches my thirst. I mean, that's the number one functional, logical reason to buy water. But like I said, the reason why you buy Eva is because, okay, fine, it's beyond giving you refreshment, there's a feeling that comes with buying Eva, because you put Eva in your, maybe you're in a restaurant, you're dining with someone, and you choose to buy Eva water because you have a statement to make to that person, because there are other people in the restaurant and you don't want them to see you taking pure water, for example, or taking Swan water. So there's a feeling, there's a self-esteem that buying Eva water gives to you, which is the emotional benefit of this product. I believe I've been able to touch base with this today to a large extent. So as much as a mobile phone, for example, is actually providing connectivity to you, and beyond that, providing connectivity to you makes you connect with people. You also have a fashion statement for buying a mobile phone. Everybody wants to buy a sleek phone that looks sexy, that you can confidently place on the table. I don't see of us who use techno, puts techno on our table in a boardroom meeting, for example. You probably would just hide this in your bag. But if you're using an iPhone, you would, proudly place it on your table. So those are some of the functions that brands and products actually say want to talk so much about branding. We're talking about product today. You need to be able to meet this need as a product. So if you are, for example, targeting somebody at the peak of the pyramid who is already an A-class person and you're selling techno, definitely you're not going to connect with that person because the person doesn't need techno at that point in his life. Because the person needs a phone that, is a status phone. It's a statement when I carry it. So I probably will buy the latest iPhone that comes in every other month. I don't mind. I will keep changing my phone. That is my need at that point. I need to make a statement. So the techno will probably attract the bottom of the pyramid with someone who needs a safety, in the sense that the person is looking out to buy a phone that I just want to be able to call people. You may not even need a smartphone to do that. I just need to be connected to people. So you probably will just buy a very low-end phone, which is not even a smartphone, or it meets the purpose of connecting with people. So I believe we understand this in detail, what functional and emotional benefits actually does on the pyramid. We might as well not be in business, or we might be targeting the wrong people, which is important for us to identify. So that's why it's important for us to identify these people and identify how they think and how they make purchase decisions and what they are looking for. So I'll move on quickly to the next slide, which talks about, okay, this isn't moving swiftly as I thought. I'll move on to, excuse me. Wow. Okay, so the next slide talks about, also asks us a critical question, which is, does your product or service meet your business objectives? So for example, as much as we run businesses and we have products and services that we offer to people, and we believe we are offering value to people, there's also a business feel to it, that there's a business angle to it. So how profitable does this make me feel? Am I actually running a profitable business, or I'm running at a loss? So it's also critical to analyze the position of your business, which is why I brought up business management, are already important model. Well, I call it tool now, used by business holders or business managers to actually analyze where their business, position of their business at the moment, and how they can actually optimize it, improve on it beyond where they are, and grow their business beyond where they are. So it places the business on four parameters majorly. Categorizes it into four. You identify where your business sits into that model, and then you'd actually look out for solution based on where your position is. There's a next picture that just shows an understanding of this matrix. Wow. I think I'll stop sharing this slide. Okay, so this is an example of the BCG matrix. I'll just quickly explain the pointers on the 4 parameters. So the first one says stars. A business or a product which is at the stage of stars, which is considered a star, more like, is a product that has a high potential for growth. For example, during the COVID-19 period, where the global pandemic that we're experiencing worldwide now, digital marketing, for example, is the service that is a star now and has the opportunity to grow grow at a higher percentage than it is now, because a lot of services are going online now. So for people who were in this line of business, probably they were just at the level and they were not growing initially. But since the COVID period came and the global pandemic, they've moved beyond that stage. So they're at the start stage where people are actually investing into this business, and they have a lot to milk from it because it's going to grow, because people are physically not making themselves available anymore. So everything is digital. We're having this in some training online. So if you're a service provider, if you're an internet service provider, for example, now, I mean, you can as well, make your way to the banks, because you're making so much money, and people can help you for school. School is online, market is online. People are reducing as much as possible their visit to the market. Working from home, you're working remotely, you're online, you're having Zoom meetings, you're online. Virtually everything is being done online. So this is a star business that has the opportunity for growth. In the course of the presentation, I'll go into detailed explanation of those points. And then moving on to question mark. This is a business that, you need to reanalyze and ask yourself, are you really into business, or you're running a hobby? A hobby is different from a business. The hobby is something you like to do, but if it's not profitable, you begin to ask yourself as an investor if this is the kind of business you should invest in. I'm trying to find an example of that. I would not want to mention anyone's business because I don't want to mention anyone's business at the moment, but I know that a lot of businesses now, Wale and some other people who agree with me, are that question mark position. My business inclusive, because to a large extent, I'm into okay, let me use my business as an example. I'm into, someone's speaker is actually on. I'm into experiential marketing. I believe what you understand by experiential marketing. Experiential marketing is largely, layman terms, I would say activations, running brand activations, bringing your product close to the consumer, direct engagement with your customer, open market activation, people you see on the road show, people who you see at the mall, on your walkway at the high, on the walkway, even in the mall, introducing a product to you. The people you would see on campuses, having a show on campuses, it's branded, it's a product. So my business, for example, is at this question mark stage, and I like to, as much as possible, apply this to myself so I can analyze it better. So it's a question of, are we going to be having large events in the next 1 year? If, for example, weddings are no longer like huge like they used to be. If, for example, events majorly, crowd gathering now, it's like an offense having an event with more than 30, 50 people, so to speak. Initially it was 20. So that kind of business, now it's at the question mark stage to say, okay, how do I survive as a business? What can I do differently if this is not selling as a business? For example, how can I bring experiential marketing to digital? So those things that I used to do on the surface in the open market, engaging with people, human interaction, a lot of human interaction. How do I bring that business? How do I bring it online such that I'm still in business, my business doesn't die? So that's question mark 2. I believe I talked in detail on that. So moving on to cash cow, I believe a lot of us are already familiar with cash cow. A cash cow business is like the life wire of your business. Whether you advertise or not, whether you make noise about it or not, it sells on its own. It's like your bestseller, it's like your flagship. for your product or service that people must actually ask for on a regular day, on a regular basis. So, for example, if you bake cakes, for example, you know that okay, whichever ways people must buy cupcakes, for example, that's your cash cow. Or people, okay, for example, Sunday, if you don't sell pastries, if you don't sell cakes, you would sell bread in a day. You understand? So bread for that kind of business is like the cash cow of the business. People must buy bread. That's like the basic. So that's your cash cow, and the level of investment you put into this business is so moderate that it doesn't consume so much in terms of production, in terms of packaging and all that. But the return on it is so huge that the margin you make on it is a lot more than you make in any other business. So that's like a business you prepare, you pamper like a baby. Moving on to dogs. Dogs like that kind of business that nobody wants to have. It's that business that is not doing well. And in fairness to ourselves, we will say, you know what? Let's forget about this offering. Let's just take it out of what we offer. So that's basically describing what BCG matrix is. So in my next slide, I'm going to touch based on what we can do at every stage in which our business is and how we can apply this principle to developing our business or service that we render. This BCG matrix, which is the product life cycle. Both of them are interrelated. A product or service you're introducing into the market, for every business you are running, there's a life cycle to it. So at that introduction stage, you're just climbing the ladder. You're climbing the ladder and you're going to grow up there, and you're going to grow so much that it gets to the stage of maturity, which is the cash cow I was talking about. It gets to the stage of maturity. Now, if you're not careful, it's going to decline. That is the natural curve of a product. So at every point in time, the BCG matrix that we just talked about identifies each of these 4 positions and then suggests to you what to do at every point. So as much as you're introducing a product, what kind of investment should you put into consideration when you're at this point of, when you're at this stage of, when you're at this stage of the life cycle? So for example, if you're at the introduction stage, for example, it says that you should invest, which is like your question mark now. It says that I should invest heavily to increase market share, liquidate, usually as introduction stage of product life cycle. So you're testing the waters. You're not sure of the market you're going into. So you need a lot of investment in this business to make sure that you grow and you make profits. But when you now grow eventually, you move on to the stage of stars. You become a star. A star is a business that has a high growth rate year in, year out. You can say that, or estimate to say in another 5 years, this business is going to be growing at a 10% growth because of a pattern in the life of, you can see that. So digital marketing, for example, it's like at the growth rate now, it has the tendency to go higher because a lot of lifestyle, a lot of things that we used to do are going to have moved online now. I just started a school. I just started a course. I'm starting a course next week that I registered for, and it's virtually online for the first module. I'm not going to have any physical class. And I'm like, cool. But you know what? Businesses are charging as much as they used to charge when they were having physical classes. I'm sure a lot of us have kids in school that they're joining online classes, and some schools are even charging higher than they were charging when children were going to school, because they claim that they're burning their data, they're spending more to put the tools together for you to be accessible online. Those of us that are parents, we're also investing in buying data to make sure that kids join the school. So this is a growth stage that for digital marketing, for example. And at this stage, we need to ensure that our cash flow actually exceeds required investments for growth. So milk this opportunity. Now, moving on to the maturity, which is the cash cow. The maturity.
Okay, not to worry. I think there was a little bit of a break in transmission. I think our internet was acting up. I'm sure she'll be back up shortly. P-Wills, are you there?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Okay, great.
So I'll just try to reach out to her just to check in.
Okay, great. In the meantime, are you learning? Are you getting some thoughts? Are you documenting what you are learning? You know, I think it's important that we're making sense of what is being said. So today, the conversation that is currently going on is a conversation about understanding your offering. So I hope we're making sense of it and we're understanding how to position our products, where our products are positioned, and what we need to do about those products based on the understanding that we have. And I think, of course, it's good for the company to think about, but I think it's also good for every distributor to think about it as well. And say, for the market that I'm offering my product to, what exactly am I giving them? Okay, she's back. Good. I just wanted to keep us a little engaged until she got back. So I can see she's back. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm sure I don't know at the point in which I went off. But I think I'm on the last slide now. Moving on to the next slide, which is like taking your business decision. Now, we've talked about you being a business owner and you're not running an NGO. So critical business decisions. So if you've identified where your products stand, the position in which your offering stands, this is the time to put this into the quadrants, the 4 parameters on the quadrant, and tell yourself the honest truth, what you should be doing to grow your business. So for example, if you're at the cash cow stage, your earnings are high and stable, and cash flow is high and stable as well. You should actually be milking this position as much as possible. So same goes for the other quadrant. So in clear terms, so if you're a star, you should be funded. Such a business, should be funded and encouraged to grow. If you're a question mark, this business should be resolved by executives by deciding whether to foster or sell this unit. And if you're a cash cow, you should be milked, to supply funds to more promising businesses. Dogs, they said dogs should be sold if possible and abandoned if necessary. So basically, I believe we've touched this as much as possible. I expect a lot of questions after this session, but just in clear terms, I believe that, Wally, I don't know whether these slides are going to be made available to people, but I believe it's something that you need to plot the graph on yourself and fit in your business, where your business sits in this quadrant, and take a business decision that you think would help your business grow. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I've been able to convince and not confuse a lot of people here. I seem to talk very fast, but if you have questions, I expect feedback on the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Toyin. Thanks for sharing. Okay, guys, I hope that we've picked out a lesson or two, and we'll probably have some questions. So maybe some things are not clear to you, some terms used, you don't have clarity about them, and you like for you to be expatiated on. Now is the time to ask questions. So you can use the chat box, or if you want to have voice, you can indicate, and we can also enable you to use voice to ask your questions as well. All right. So the floor is open for us to ask our questions. Today we're talking about understanding your offering. And this is basically about what are you offering your customers. And I know that a number of us, we have different businesses we run, from poultry to baking, I think to even lessons, if I remember some of the businesses we touched on last week as well. So we have different things we offer, and in case you have any question on this, it will be good to have it come alive. So I mean, Toyin was talking about the BCG matrix and how you have your cash cow, you have your question mark, you have your star performer, and all of that. And understand that in a single business can have all of this at the same time. So I mean, you can be, maybe you are a business that is into baking cakes. For example, maybe your vanilla offering is your cash cow, and then your chocolate maybe is your star, and then maybe your coconut is your is maybe your question mark, because I mean you are not making sales from it, or sales are not moving fast in it, and you probably lose money most times when you offer that offering. So it basically means that maybe that's not something you should bother yourself with. Maybe it's a product you should scrap away from your offering and focus on the one that is really giving value to your business. So as a business, you can have all of this, at the same time, happening in your business. And it's just important that you're now evaluating and saying what is bringing me the most value, what is taking away value from us, or is not even adding any value, as the case is. And those are like things to consider. And sometimes, you even have some products that you're selling that might not necessarily be adding value to the bottom line, but they are there because they also help you manage costs. So maybe, for example, and I think I'm seeing a few questions, so we'll go to them in a bit. Good. So, for example, you have businesses like, let me give a quick example for that. So, say you have Rob, for example, and Rob, Rob has this 10 naira, the 10 naira, I think 10 naira or 20 naira one that is very small. I don't know how much they said it now. But it's the smallest size of Rob, and then you have the bigger sizes that are available as well. Now, if Rob is to map out their BCG matrix, the one that is probably giving them the most value definitely is not that small one. But because when you run a factory, you want to ensure that you are making the most of the time you are spending running that factory, of the resources going down into that factory. And so, for what businesses do is, even though this particular segment of their offering is not bringing as much value, it helps them balance their costs. So it's not there because it's profitable, it's there because it helps them manage costs. And when they look at the entire P&L, that offering might not necessarily be adding a lot of profit to them, but it ensures that in terms of costs spread across paying staff or running diesel or keeping the machines running, that particular line of offering helps them keeps the light on and helps them manage costs as well. So those are like things to look at, across board in deciding, do I need to scrap this line of business or do I need to keep it running? What value is it adding to you as a business, at the end of the day? All right, so I'll just take a few questions we have. Thank you, Toyin, for sharing with us. Someone said, can we cite the quadrant again, please? So Toyin, if you don't mind sharing that slide again, someone would like to see that slide. Someone said the voice went off at the business objectives. BCG matrix should please be explained clearly. More clarification on the question mark. All right. Toyin, do you want to take that on quickly?
I will. Just a minute. Okay. So the question mark is very simple. A question mark is, for example, you're starting a new business. It's a question mark. A question mark because you're just starting. You're not sure of what shape the business will take. You're not sure of where the business is going. And even though you might have done a bit of research on the business before going into it, but the point is you haven't done that business before. So at that stage, you are to invest and put a lot of investment behind that business to make sure that it grows it gets to the growth stage. So for this critical business decision, the reason why I remember I used my business as an example for this, the reason is, even though my business has been on for roughly 10 years, where I currently work, but it's a new business now because there's a new normal informed by COVID-19. So the new normal now, things that we help your products, we ensure that you have a handshake with your consumer. We connect with your consumer and you have direct engagement with your consumer. But now, a handshake now is a problem. So we are in a market in which we are trying to even decipher where we stand right now. Is this a business that will grow in the next 1 year? Should we remain in this line of business? What are the chances that schools will resume by September and businesses will go back to normal? Now, if schools even resume in September, for example, the campuses, would any school allow us to come and activate and come and make noise and distribute flyers and crowd the environment again? We see this new normal going on till the end of 2020. So we're looking at 2021 for a miracle. Now, bearing in mind that this is not the only business we run some other sales and business, but for the business of experiential marketing, it's at a question mark. We can now put our energy behind, you see, for now, our cash cow, which had not been our cash cows in the past. Our cash cow for now would now be in terms of sales, distribution for clients that we work with. How do we help them distribute their products to ensure that their product is available everywhere and they make sales? Every marketing person that I know of now is talking of sales. So should we channel our energy towards distribution of product for customers? So we say, okay, let's get a warehouse facility where we collect product for customers, from clients. We can stock the product there, can have a distribution channel. People will come in to take the products in the morning and distribute to the markets. That's a service it's a cash cow for our business for now. Now, the one we used to in the past, the one we used to pride ourselves in the past to be the cash cow, is now at a question mark. I believe this explanation tells us in detail what a question mark is, but let me use a business that I've worked with in the past for a clear understanding of what this BCG matrix would be. So there was a time I was working at Montaigne. Montaigne Places, we retail, it's a retail company. We retail luxury goods from France and the likes, Francophone companies and the likes. And while I was working with that business, I realized that, okay, we retail fragrances, luxury fragrances. We retail majorly like a supermarket. So we have a chain of stores in Nigeria across all the ShopRites in Nigeria, about 27 outlets in Nigeria. We had the Ikeja Mall. We had like 9 malls in Lagos. Because they are luxury products, so you won't see them on your neighborhood shelf, in your neighborhood store, sorry. You won't see them in your Malam store, never. You would never see them in a trade fair, never. You would only see them in modern trade where within a mall there's AC, there's security for the product because a bottle of thereabouts, so those are not the products that you see in the open market. So for that kind of business, we had 4 segments of products that we were retailing. Am I lost? I think my internet is lost. Hello? Okay, I think I'm back.
We're still hearing you, yeah.
So for that kind of business, we had 4 different kind of.
Your voice is really breaking.
We were selling fragrance. We were selling cosmetic. Oh, okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Toyin. Are you there, Toyin? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Yes, I can. Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead. We can hear you now.
Okay. Can you hear me? I would have to increase the volume
Yes,
of my...
we can.
Okay. Like I was saying, we were retailing fragrance, we were retailing skincare, we were retailing cosmetics.
Okay, I think we just lost Toyin. She's back. Toyin, are you back? Hello, Toyin. Hello. All right, sorry. We'll just give her a few minutes to join us. Okay, maybe we'll just take on some of the questions that I can see here.
Okay. I can hear
Hello,
you.
Toyin.
Yes, I am.
All right, cool. Okay,
Can you hear me?
back. Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Hello, Toyin. Yes, we can hear you. Hello. Hello. Hello, Toyin. Okay, everyone. I hope that it's getting clearer to us. The explanation on the BCG matrix in terms of cash cow star. Toyin, I see you're muted. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you, Toyin. Please go ahead. Hello, Toyin.
Okay, let me quickly just touch base on this before the network goes off. Okay, so
All right. I think we're having some issues with Toyin's internet. So let's hope that she's able to still join us. But we'll just continue the conversation as the case is. So I see. I'll just go back to the questions and see if we can take them as we have them here. Someone was saying she should talk around the matrix on question mark. I think she's already done that, so I think we have that clear. Abiodun Daramola, I hope that the question you asked, I hope you have the answers to it now. Someone says, how long does it take for you? Okay, I think this is from here. How long does it take for you to decide if your products are stars, cash cows, dogs, or question mark? So I think that a way to really look at this is to also look at the industry where you play, and be able to look at the life cycle and expectation of how growth happens in a business. I don't think it will be too many times you want to ensure you are. Decisions can be made at any time, in your business. So there are businesses that shut down. So you have a big brand, for example, come out and launch a product, and within 6 months they put it off the market because the response they are getting from the market isn't making any sense for them to continue to put resources into it. And so without taking too long, you can quickly make that decision and make that call, and correct your error. And that can be because maybe you don't have product market fit based on the product. So for example, if you look at, and a classic example to use will probably be New Coke, yeah. And what happened with Coke? So Coke was at a place in their journey where Pepsi did some research, and in that research that was done by Pepsi, and this was a very major a major research that was done across America back then. And in doing that research, they realized that people were saying that they preferred the taste of Pepsi to the taste of Coke. And this research went on. They really did some some solid research on it, and it became a concern for Coke because they feel, Pepsi will probably take their market share, and that will be the end of their business, or it will reduce their sales. So they decided to scrap the Coke that we all know today, which is the original Coke we have, and they came out with new Coke. And when they came out with new Coke, they launched it. This is Coke. There was a lot of advertising that went into it. They really drove a lot of marketing communications to drive sales. But then there was a backlash from the market. They really did not understand or pay attention to the emotional side of things. So, they paid attention to maybe the functional, which is, how it tasted in people's mouth and from, the research feedback they got. But once they released the new Coke, people started talking about bring back our Coke because they felt there was an emotional connection already to the old Coke that they used to know. And people said, we like Coke the way we used to know it. This one tastes totally different. And we don't want it. We want a new Coke. And they were confused because they felt we did a lot of research. We asked these same customers this question, and people were saying that they preferred this other taste. But within I think they tried to say no, we'll continue, that customers will adjust, but the thing kept on. And I think after about 6 months to a year, they went back to the old Coke. And so you can make that decision, I think, at any point in time in your business, maybe. But I think and this might mean, for this case line, it was an extreme case because there was significant backlash and sales was not happening. And talking about your product offering, when I offer a product to the market and it's not meeting maybe the functional need of people, it's not even getting things done, maybe in terms of whether it's the taste or is in whether it's saving, is even making people spend more time doing that thing than they used to, or it's not basically giving people value for their money. Once I release a product in the market and I see that people, so it can mean, do I need time to educate people? So there are products I put in the market that that basically has to do with change of behavior for the customer. So this is not something the customer is used to, and they need education. They need time to be able to change into that. Once I understand that, I know that I need to give time for people to make that switch into what I'm offering them in terms of education and to bring them to a place. But there are times when I've tried all of that and it's still not working. And if I look at my portfolio and I start, we have been trying to get people to change their mind on this, it's still not working. We have been pushing for a year or two and we are burning money. It might mean it's time to make the hard decision to whether turn off this business line, or are there tweaks we need to make into the offering to make it better meet the needs of the customer. And that's why it's important we are listening up to the customer to make those decisions. So if for example for example, when Instagram launched, Instagram did not launch the way we all know Instagram today. Instagram launched as a app that had a number of things that is being offered to the customer. And they realized that after a while, even though they had a number of things on that app, what people were using the most was the photo sharing part of the app. So even though they had a number of things, so you can say they had a number of things that they were hoping that this would be how we are going to make money. But what people were paying attention to out of everything was just the photo sharing part. And what they did was to make the hard decision of, scrap every other thing and let the only thing we are offering the customer be what they want, which is the photo sharing part of it. And that's how Instagram became to grow, started growing, and that's Instagram we know today. But that was not how that journey started. So I think when we make that decision, it will be different for different businesses, and it will just be about for my business, am I burning too much money trying to continue to sell a line of business that is not working and is drawing us back as a whole? I remember we're in a conversation recently, and I think it was one of these multinational businesses. Someone said, it was having a conversation with one of their top managers, and they were saying, how Nigeria has prospects, how Nigeria is a good place to do business, and the opportunities, that our population is growing, blah, blah, blah. And he said, the man told him, that guy, when we look at our business portfolio, what Nigeria represents in the whole of our business is just 0.8% of our entire business. So for them, basically, if they decide to shut down Nigeria tomorrow, they don't feel they have lost anything. Yet we are putting money in these markets because we feel it will grow, but then it's 0.8% of our market. And so for us, do we want to continue to spend money? And I don't know how many of us follow the P&G story, where P&G shut down a $400 million factory. And the information that came through, trying to read more about it, was basically in the global scale of the business, this Nigeria market represented a very small percentage of the market. The company felt, we have been putting money in these markets, but yet we are not growing as expected. We are not getting as much value as we expected. So rather than continue to put more money into the market, and we cannot even see it growing over the next 5 years, 10 years to where we want it to be, we make the hard decision of shutting it down. So for them, the entire Nigerian market was a question mark. We are putting money in this market, but it's still not growing as we want it to. We have spent about 10 years, 13 years doing this, and we are still not making any growing the way we desire. Shut it down. Shut down the factory. Let's have just one factory rather than have two, and we are spending a lot of money in that market. So I think it will be different for different companies. It will be different for different markets. And as a company, it will just be ensuring that we're paying attention to our P&L, paying attention to customer feedback to make the decision at the right time for our businesses. All right, I think we have Toyin back. I hope we are clear on that, and I hope things are getting clearer. Toyin, are you back now? Hello, Toyin.
Hello, I'm so sorry.
No problem. Welcome back. All right, so I think you will not be able to see the questions again. So let me try to read some of them to you. I've tried to answer some. Just a second. So someone said, what is the difference between business objective and business goal?
Okay. They mean the same thing.
Right. All right. The next question I have here is, what is more important, the functional benefits or the emotional benefits? Is there a way to balance them?
Functional or emotional? Okay. I'm just taking it down. Okay. Okay, I would answer that. First and foremost, this class is actually about understanding your offering. The only reason why I put a business tweak to understanding your offering is because I'm a very business-minded person. So, but plus and minus, I'm always compared. So your understanding of your own offering will make you optimize your product or your service to a level whereby you're making profit. So understanding your offering is about understanding the value that you actually give to your consumer. So your interpretation of that value falls within your functional and your emotional benefits. Now, both are very important, depending on the consumer that you're trying to reach. So the question is neither wrong or right. If I say it's functional benefit is more important, emotional benefit, depending on the consumer. So let's go back to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of need. For the person at the bottom of the pyramid, who is more like concerned about safety needs. For example, the person is an unskilled worker. It's probably a laborer or an artisan somewhere, or maybe a security man, or maybe a trader trader, maybe a organizer, maybe think about the profession, maybe a trader in a Lagos Island market, anybody that you can think of at that bottom. So basically, the way you identify these people, without using Abrama's, let me use a simple analysis for it. For every income earner, we have low income earners, right? We have middle income earners. We have middle, and then we have high income earners. For the person who is at the bottom of the pyramid, who is the low income earner, what is important to that person is the functional benefits of that product. The person doesn't care. I just want to drink water. I don't care whether if I just give me pure water and I'm fine.
All right, I think we lost Toyin again. But just to maybe continue on that thought, in terms of functional and emotional. So like she was saying, I mean, for someone who is low income, for example, is probably just focused on functional. So if it's water, just give me water. I don't care whether it's from one spring in France or it's from one or is pH 7.5. I saw one water at the supermarket yesterday that was 500 naira, and they wrote something pH value blah 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 blah. I mean, I just want to drink water, and if I can get water for 50 naira or 10 naira, why do I want to pay 500 naira for the same water? But yeah, I can get to a place in my journey where I'm able to afford more. And when I see those kind of things, it becomes more important for me that the kind of water I drink places me in a particular, makes me look different, and shows class, in that sense. And I'm willing to pay a lot more to get to buy the same water, as the case is. So I think functional or emotional. And next week we're talking about branding, and I think when we talk about branding, we'll probably talk a lot more even about this. But I think for any business, if you don't meet functional need in the first place, you are not even in business. I mean, before I even start talking about emotional. So if you say you sell a phone and I can't call, then there's already problem. If you say you bake cake and the taste is horrible, they are not even in business. So even before we even get to emotional, which would then take us maybe deeply into branding and all of that, because emotional connects a lot with branding, and why people will buy a particular brand, whether it's Nike today or it's Apple today. So you have today, if Apple says we are launching a new line of phones or something, people sleep over, at the store. Yeah,
okay. I don't know why. I don't want to mention the name of my network. I don't know why they decided to update. Because I'm a marketing person, I'm not going to mention their name. But they have messed me up today. Okay, so moving on quickly, we're talking about the low-income earner, who is at the bottom of the pyramid, whose needs. So it's still about understanding the customer need. When you understand your consumer need, you are able to profile a product that meets the need of that consumer. So at this bottom of the pyramid, the person's core needs are safety needs. He needs a house, a roof over his head. He needs clothing. He needs food. He needs water. Basic amenities like that. For the person who is at the middle of the pyramid, who is the mid-income earner, the person has attained a level of a status whereby the person can be in life. Okay, now that
Yeah, breaking off Toyin.
My head. I have a job. I can take 3 square meals a day. So my other, and then at that point, the person starts saying, maybe I don't need it, because you have some level of disposable income. You feel the esteem that people, the product gives a point. You understand? And then for the high income earner, am I still breaking? Okay. Maybe I should stop video. Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So for that person who is at the peak of the pyramid, at the apex, the person has a high income and a very high disposable income. That's the kind of person that you would sell a luxury good to, like the perfume I was talking about. Those are the kind of people we're trying to reach then. So for those kind of people, buying a perfume of 100,000 is not a big deal. But for a low to mid income earner, 100,000 naira bottle of perfume is like luxury to them. So for that kind of person, the person will probably buy, when the person buys a 15,000 naira worth of perfume, the person feels good with himself, like, wow, this perfume is expensive. So for if you're able to profile your customer on that pyramid to say, this is a low income earner, this is a mid income earner, this is a high income earner, how do I provide product that meets the need of these people at every stage in time? So if I'm a pure water manufacturer, I already know that I'm talking to people at the bottom of the pyramid. Maybe at the mid too, because I know that families who have large number in their homes, they still consume pure water. Maybe I'm talking to those people generally, and they can't be bothered. There's a functional benefit. You provide water. Water is water. Don't take me to 4 Points restaurant and start asking for water with lime. I don't care. I'll call water with lime for 2,500. That kind of person will probably go downstairs and go and buy water downstairs. So the need of that person is different. So if you're able to understand your offering and how your offering meets the demand of this customer. So at that bottom of your pyramid, your concentration is functional benefits. At the mid to the top of the pyramid, it is functional, both functional and emotional, because the person has been able to provide the basic needs of the safety needs of life and has moved on to a higher, self-esteem, self-expression level in life. So both parties, so both of them become very important. But more importantly, as much as, even if your product is tailored to people at the bottom of the pyramid, try as much as possible from the beginning to infuse emotional benefits, because you know why? Those people at the bottom of the pyramid, they are going to grow to the middle of the pyramid. And when they go to that middle, you don't want them to leave your brand behind and move on to a better brand. So the kind of communication you put across from the beginning to say that, oh, we treat all customers equal. For example, if you are rendering a service, what is important to us is we're a one customer bank, for example, Sterling Bank. So regardless of whether you have money now, we know that you have money tomorrow. We want to start with you young, and we want to build with you. As you're going forward in your life, in your career, we want to go forward with you. Another way that companies actually do this is to have different products tailored to different segments of people, different categories of people. So if you are buying a low-end product today, chances are tomorrow, let's say you buy Sunlight, for example, Sunlight detergents now to wash your clothing. The moment you buy a Bimbo, I don't know if you guys know what this Bimbo detergent is like. It used to be 20 naira, one very funny detergent like that. The moment you move to the top of the kid, you'll be surprised that the same company that sells Sunlight sells Omo, sells a much higher superior detergent. So they profile their customers to say, you know what, we'll start with you here. When you get there, you move with us here. So they are making sure that they hold you life as you progress in your career. You meet chance for a product to play with both emotional and make money. Yes, you make money. Maybe next week when the person I play with both functions, because it is the life customer leaves you, then your product, you don't want your product to decline. It will decline because your product will just do it. So understanding for example, if you bake cakes, for example, your value to your consumer is Sorry, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, so if you bake cakes, for example, if you ask me in layman's terms, what is your offering? What are you offering anyway? If I go to Mr. Biggs today and I want to dip, or I go to Cakes and Cream, I'll get cake, depending on what I can afford. But what you are doing is that you're actually adding color to their events. So the reason why some of us will buy, or some mothers will buy cake of about 20,000 naira is because they want to make a statement with our cake. They want a cake for the gram, a cake that they can confidently post on Instagram, a cake that people that they are trying to attract can look at and say, oh, beautiful. They don't want to be basic. They don't want to run a business that, you know, people can move on to the next person. So there's a special recipe in your cake production that people look forward to, and they will pay any amount for that recipe because they know that the way you mix your cake is not the way Cakes and Cream will mix your cake. Cakes and Cream is an industrial production outlet. So the detailing that will go into Cakes and Cream is not the detailing that will go into a private baker that will have to make a cake for me. If I want to do a character cake, I'll probably go with someone that will give it all the attention and the detailing. And I can mix, I can dictate the kind of mix I want. To say, you know what, give me red velvet, give me strawberry, give me vanilla, do a mix of 3. But if I go to a Cakes and Cream, the moment I begin to mention all those things, they already see that, oh yeah, you're actually changing our model of production. You have to pay for this extra. You have to pay. So it's about the color you actually had to that customer in a way that the customer sticks with you and doesn't want to leave you. I've had some cake vendors in the past that I know that I can't, when it comes to events, I think of them first when I'm doing events because they will take extra effort to make sure that they do a fantastic job. For people who, I'm trying to think of another line of business for SMEs, for people who run daycare services, for example. I believe that the reason why we take our kids to crèche is because we have confidence in the places where we are putting our kids. So I know a lot of mothers will have confidence in a crèche that is being run by an elderly person because they believe that the elderly person is experienced. It's probably a grandma that started the crèche and has compassion for children and treats children like their own. The likes of grandma that will even run a crèche from the comfort of their homes. I believe a lot of mothers will go there before they go to a proper school. A proper school that doesn't have caregivers that are experienced, I'll be curious as a mother to put my child there. I don't want to put my child with a teenager or put my child with someone in her 20s who has never had a child. So it's that peace of mind that you're giving to me that makes me feel like, oh, okay, let me go with this crèche. This person smiles from the surface. When I see this person, I have comfort. He has a welcoming smile. The reason why someone like me will go to the person's home is because I want a home away from home. I don't want a crèche that looks like a school. I don't want to start giving my child that tedious experience. I want a place where when the child wants to sleep, there's quietness, there's no noise, there are no children running around the compound. It's homely, it's peaceful. I can come back from work and not be in a hurry to beat traffic. If I get there by 8 o'clock or 9 p.m., the child is probably sleeping by then. I just pick up the child and sleep and leave. The child is not doing after school hours and waiting for the mother to come at 7 p.m. And the child is restless and tired and cranky and all that. So that is the value that that person gives to you. Is that home away from home? That's, okay, I have comfort in where this child is. This child is well taken care of. So look at that value that you have to your customer. It's not just about the product or everybody does the same thing, but how you do yours differently matters. Even from the choice of your cots, baby cots, when I get there, I can tell. From the choice of your carpet, from the choice of, they don't wear shoes into that room. You have to pull up, you have to take out your shoes, pull up your shoes when you get to the door before you go in. All those little detailing makes me have confidence that, okay, there are safety measures in this crèche. People don't just come in anyhow. Some crèches would even tell you that don't bring food from home. We prepare food for our kids. Yeah. We maintain that level of standard, and it gives comfort to the mother. The mother already doesn't want to be stressed. The mother wants a place whereby she's sure that they are feeding the child well, and she can sleep well and wake up when she likes to take care of to bathe the baby and drop the baby in crèche. The mother doesn't want to do long cooking in the morning. Some mothers have even been spoiled to the extent that they don't even shower for their babies from home. They just wake up, shower for themselves, pick up the baby and drop in crèche, in that home crèche. Because they know that before they come back, you know what? They've showered for the baby, they've rubbed powder, the baby is smelling nice by the time you come back. So to a mother, I can see someone smiling over there. That's like peace of mind. You will pay anything for that service because you are sure that, you know what, this person has my comfort in mind. This person has thought of my challenge and I said, don't worry, just go to work, we'll take care of your baby. So that's a value that you cannot get in a school or in a school that is so corporate like. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So that's why functional and emotional benefits is relevant. You must be able to connect with that customer emotionally, such that the person bonds with you. The person is actually bonds with you and doesn't want to leave you. Hello.
Yeah, thanks, Toyin. Yeah, thanks. So let me see if there's any more questions we have not touched on. Okay, yeah, there's one here. Someone says, assuming someone who has been selling Kunu drink at the beginning of the year, then getting to the rainy season, you suddenly found out that you could not sell even up to 20%. Should that person navigate now due to emotional swing of the customers, which is based on weather? Then maybe towards the end of the year, Harmattan comes, you start selling sweeter. I'm not sure I'm very clear on the question.
Okay.
Wemi, I don't know if you are still on the call. Then I can give you voice so you can ask your question. So I'll just do that now if you're here.
Okay, I'm here.
All right, please. Yeah, you can go ahead.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes,
what
I
I'm
can.
actually asking is, imagine somebody in your neighborhood is selling Kunu and has been selling well from the beginning of the year because of dry season and he sells very well. Then getting to this period now, people they don't normally take it again because of the rainy season, and maybe they need something to warm themselves or something like that, or they are not trying to get something that you are not even in the business line. So should that person now swing to the next business because the people are trying to get another product? You get maybe probably business you don't have much an idea or knowledge about it. Then maybe when it gets to another season in the year and another thing happens, and you get to swing again because the customers are actually moving. Because me, I feel the emotional benefit presently in most of our youth in Nigeria, in our Nigerian market, matters a lot. Like a lot of people buy things because of emotional benefit, fashion shows, and what to show and what to show that. Honestly speaking, so is it healthy for one to just maybe change businesses because your kuni is no longer selling because it's rainy season or coronavirus, something like that? Because if somebody wants to full, I feel if somebody wants to full emotional benefit, you sometimes have to be swinging from one business to another. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if somebody understand me.
Okay, so are you done? Permit me to just talk about that.
Yes, ma'am, I'm done. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kunu, for example, is not is Kunu. I don't know why you profiled Kunu as a seasonal business. I think Kunu it's such a drink that you can take any time of the year. You probably were selling more when it was dry season because of where you position the product. But I believe that it's a product you can take anywhere, anytime. So for this particular period, the reason why I say it is not because it's food. And there's a study on the global pandemic now, and the three top categories of product that consumers are going to invest their money on. Number one is fuel, because we have, during the lockdown, this study was done in April this year during the lockdown, and they realized that number one thing that was taking consumers' money was fuel, because we have a power problem in Nigeria. So you can already understand that petrol, fueling your generator and all that, because you're at home, you're not at work, so you have to run your gen and all that. And because people don't have lights, they have to buy fuel. That's the number one spender. Number two was home supplies. Home supplies in terms of groceries, home supplies in terms of disinfectants, in terms of toiletries, because first of all, man must survive. Food. So your food falls under this category. Food falls under the category. Detergents fall under, they have to wash clothes, they have to bathe. Soaps fall under this category. Home supplies, basically. Number three was, sorry, I'm trying to remember now. Number 3 was home entertainment. Because people were locked down back at home and they were watching Netflix. A lot of us moved on. I mean, I've had Netflix for so many years and never even connected. A lot of us moved on to Netflix because we wanted entertainment on the go. So if within these parameters, your product fall within this parameter, which food you just mentioned now, I don't think it's actually restricted to dry season. And for me, if I were running this business, permit me to say, I would probably, because it's all drinks, and what can I do? I know that the people who do kono are majorly northerners. They are very good at making konos. But what I would do differently to make sure that I meet the current need of my customer, because I know that they still need food and they need different flavors in their mouth, and they're not going to be drinking the same water every day. So I probably will look at infusing ginger or infusing garlic that I know that I will now sell the attribute of the fact that it helps your immune system against coronavirus as well. So you need an intake of ginger, so I can do different flavors, for example. I can make this ginger, I can make this garlic, I can make this lemon flavored. So it protects you also, it boosts your vitamin C and boosts your immune system in such a way that, so it's all dependent on how you sell your product and how you position your product. So if you tell me that, oh, this is specially made with ginger because of the situation of the country now and the way people, I know, for example, that my husband who never used to take fruits now takes, for example, ginger and garlic drink mixed with lemon. I don't even know where he buys the product from. And I'm like, it's amazing that you never used to concern yourself about things like this. But now he's more conscious of boosting his immune system, and and the garlic, from the smell, when you open the fridge, you don't even want to touch it because it's highly concentrated, but it's actually fulfilling a need. There's a need for that consumer. His need is to boost his immune system. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's a functional need, which can also be tweaked to emotional. And I can now say, oh, let me do different flavors. Today I can decide to do, I'm testing the waters, I'm testing the market, I can do ginger today. Tomorrow I do lemon. And I see what my consumers say. When I hear the feedback for them, the one they prefer, I make sure that I keep doing that one that they prefer. Or I can even totally leave Kono and say, you know what, I'm doing a different mix for you now, fruit mix. Brother, if I call it 300 naira per bottle, they will buy it because everybody is super conscious now.
I hope that's clear with me.
Yes, it's clear, but because I'm asking, because it happened today. A sister of mine at home called and said my Kunu is no longer selling again, no, that because of rainy season. And I can see somebody at the chat box trying to say, yeah, so Kunu is seasonal, all this, that kind of that. So it's a real life case that I'm talking about.
Okay. So why is she
I think
only Kono?
I know what to tell her now.
All right, cool. Okay, I don't know if we have any other question we have not attended to. I think someone, Toyin, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
So someone says, please talk about clients profiling again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the last question we have here.
That's the customer.
Yes, like customer profiling. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to understand what this person is trying to get out of this. Okay, so I profile them based on their income. I think it's a very simple way to look at it. So I put them into 3 categories.
I think it will be the first slides around geographic, demographic.
Okay. So going back to the first slide that talks about the consumer, their geographic location. First and foremost, where do they live? Are they urban dwellers or they are rural dwellers? And then their demographic and psychographic. Their demographic is basically, so you can already tell their income by where they live. If they are urban dwellers, they are not necessarily low income earners. So for someone who lives you can't compare someone who lives in Ekpe, for example, with someone who lives in who lives in Lekki. You already know that this is a higher income. So the geographic location is there, and then the demographic talks about, oh, is he a male or a female? Is he 18 to 25 years old? This person is in need of my product. Is the person or is the person employed at the moment? What does the person do? So when you now start thinking about how the person thinks, that's the psychographic of that person, which still talks about the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So for that person, you can profile the person, say, oh, when you're at the mid-income level, what you are looking for is no longer safety, because the safety is at the bottom of the pyramid. What you are looking for at that point is self-expression. You want people to see you for who you are. You want more about yourself. You don't just want a product that fills your functional benefits. You want to express yourself by the clothes you put on. You want a clothes that when you wear, people will take a second look at you. You don't want to be regular. You want to carry a Gucci bag. You understand what I'm saying? And then when you get to the peak of the pyramid, which is like the high income earner, that person is no longer moved by self-expression, trying to prove that I am one, or that person at that point is trying to give back to the society where he's from. He's trying to help other people, help other people, empower other people to reach their own peak. So he's giving back at that point. He's trying to invest into other people's life to say, you know what, I need to prove by giving, I'm helping 40 couples, for example, like if you do that lost their life recently. I'm running an NGO, and I'm trying to help 10 widows, for example, regain their confidence or empower 10 widows to become self-sufficient. So different people with different aspects of your life, but more importantly, relating to product and service. For this person at the peak of the pyramid is interested in luxury product. The person already know what he wants. They don't change from product to product every day. They will only use a Creed perfume, and that's the only thing they will use. Anything below Creed, they will not use. So that's a luxury market that is not available to a lot of people. And whatever amount you call it, pricing at this point is not a problem. You can charge as high as possible. Do you understand? Somebody else will take your price and let me not divert into pricing. So whatever you're charged at this point, this person is willing to pay because price is not a problem for this person. But for the person who is at the bottom of the pyramid, low income earner, every 15 naira that you put on top, the person is conscious. You say, if Iyalagbaja is selling at 49 naira, why should I buy your own at 15 naira? So maybe from the mid-income earner to the high-income earner, yeah, you can actually try your hands on, a competitive pricing in the market. But for the bottom of the pyramid, the lower pricing always wins. Sorry, I won't go much into pricing. So that's about profiling the consumer psychographics and their demographics. I don't think I need to explain more about this. Maybe the way they think. Let me talk about psychographics now. If you are the type that psychographics of a consumer is, for example, if I'm making a product or a phone for a lady, and I'm making a phone for a guy, I know what the two sets of people are looking for. For a lady, her number one need, or to most ladies, let me not generalize now, she wants clear pictures. Do you understand what I'm saying? She wants pictures for the gram. She wants to probably put music and put the likes on her phone, and she wants to be able to Snapchat. She wants to do that. For a guy is probably looking at, what's my business with Snapchat? The guy is probably looking at, okay, the memory size, the days, how many apps can I put on this phone? What can I do? So different people with different profiling. Let me not use the lady specific for that phone. Let me use an 18-year-old to a 25-year-old who is more concerned about social media. So I will give that person a mid-range phone within the price of 25,000 and 33,000 and put all the Snapchat of this world, all the TikTok of this world already on the phone. The person just needs to buy the phone and plug and play. But for someone who is above 33 or thereabouts, who is already at like the mid-level of their career, they are more serious-minded. It's about business. So I will look for connectivity and apps that can help the person download Microsoft Office tools. We can use Office tools conveniently. You can use Zoom conveniently. So different phones are tailored to different people at different segments of that pyramid. So for the high-end phones, they are giving them enough space, enough of everything. For the mid-range phone, they are giving them memory as much as you can, considering the pricing of the product they're buying. You're also giving them a functional phone that can serve as a business tool. They can do everything they want to do on their computer on it. For a fashion freak phone for a student, undergraduates, you are giving them a phone that can, the selfie feature is top notch. You can use 6 cameras and get all the angles. You can record on your own and dance in your room and take all the shots. So this is our customer.
Everything.
So this is how customers, this is how consumers think, and how products are tailored to different people. For someone like me, I probably will be looking for a fashion designer who can sew mature dresses. Gone are the days when I want something so tight fitted, you know, top notch. But now I'll be like, you know what, comfort first. I tell my fashion, I don't want it tight, please. I want to be able to breathe. So different people with different needs. They just want something. They don't want a gummy cloth. They want a cloth that when they wear it, it makes them feel mature. You know, it's enough. Yeah, you're not managing material. It's a flowy gown that gives you some sort of respect when people see you. So you have to tailor different products to different consumers. I'm seeing some other questions here. There's a lot of questions.
All right, thank you, Toyin. I think we are out of time now. I mean, and we'll probably just need to bring this to a close. 8:30 is our close time. Let me just say thanks so much for taking us on this journey. I hope that for everyone, I hope that you've gotten value for your time today. And even though, you know, internet was on and off, I think at the end, we have clarity and a lot of insight has been gained into our understanding our offering. We spoke around segmentation of our customers. We spoke around product life cycle. We spoke around the BCG matrix and understanding where your business, your products or your business is in that journey as well. Thank you, Toyin, for spending your time with us this evening. And I hope everyone as well, I hope you've gotten value for your time and you've learned a thing or two. Next week, we're talking about understanding your branding. We're talking about understanding your branding next week, and it's going to be an amazing class. We're having the group brand manager for Procter & Gamble who will be joining us to share on branding. And that's a class that I think nobody should miss as well. It will be a follow-up on top of this. So now that you know what you're offering to your customers, how do you effectively brand your products for your customers to be able to get the most value out of it? So whether you're a daycare, whether you're a crèche, whether you are whether you do poultry, whether it's baking, whatever, whether it's fashion, how do you effectively brand for your audience and command the best value out of it? That will be happening next week. So plan to be around 7 p.m. same time. Let's be here to get value from that. All right, guys. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy your night. And see you next week. We'll update the Google Classroom with the quiz for today. So look out for that and be able to answer your quiz. And as we know, this will count towards our final score for our certificate at the end of the course. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Toyin, for joining us today and for sharing from your wealth of experience. We truly appreciate it. Good night, guys. Have a lovely evening. Take care.